For today's video, we are talking about probability. So, our learning target is I can find the probability of an event. Please write down the date that you're watching this for your records. Write down what you already know about probability. You should have learned about probability in the past, maybe in sixth grade or in elementary school, but there's definitely should be some things that you know about probability. So, write down whatever that background knowledge is. And then we have one vocabulary word today, which is probability. Probability is the chance that something will happen. It can be expressed or written as a fraction, decimal, or percent. So pause the video here, get all of that written down, and then restart when you're ready to go. So the first thing we're going to write down today is the formula for probability. And the way we write that is like this. We say the P, or probability, of an event, and that whatever that event is, we put in parentheses. We say that that will equal the number of favorable outcomes over the total number of outcomes. The outcomes are just the possible things that could happen. The favorable ones are the ones that we want to happen, the thing that we are looking for, hoping will happen. Once we have it written as a fraction, we can obviously get it as a decimal and a percent as well. So, for our first example, if we wanted to find the probability of getting tails when flipping a coin, we would write P and then parentheses of tails. So the probability of tails is how we would read that. When we have that P and then the tails, the probability of tails, that equals, well, on a coin, there are two possible outcomes, heads or tails, because there's two sides of a coin. So the bottom of my fraction will be 2, and one of those sides has tails on it. So my probability of getting tails is 1 out of 2. We can also write that as a decimal by dividing top divide by bottom. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. And then as a percent, 0.5 times 100 to get it as a percent is 50%. And that's it. That's all it is. So looking at the next one, if we wanted to roll a regular six-sided number cube, and I want to know the probability of rolling a 5, then I would say that P of 5, the probability of a 5, well, on a six-sided number cube, these are also called a dice, one die or mini dice, but we have one. Probability of rolling a 5, well, there is one side that has a 5 on it out of 6 total sides. So 1 over 6, writing that as a decimal, we would have 0.16 repeating, or 16.6 repeating percent. It's really important that we can look at it as a fraction, as a decimal, or as a percent. So see if you can find the next two, the probability of rolling an even number and the probability of rolling a 7 on your own. Restart the video when you have an answer to see how you did. So for the probability of rolling an even number, I would write that P and then in my parentheses would be even. Well, let's think about a regular die. So die has the sides 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I know that there's 6 total sides. I need to think about how many of those are even. 2 is even, 4 is even, and 6 is even. So I have 3 possible outcomes that are favorable. 3 ways to get an even number. So the probability of rolling even is 3 out of 6, which simplifies to 1/2. And then we get 0.5, 50%. Again, for today, it's really important that we write it all 3 ways so we get used to doing that. On a test or a quiz or an assignment, it's going to tell you one way. It will say as a simplified fraction, or as a decimal, or as a percent. And it's really, really important that you are able to get it in any of those ways. So now the probability of rolling a 7. The probability of rolling a 7, well, there's 6 total sides. And if I think about this, 0 of those sides have a 7 on them. So my probability is 0/6 or 0 or 0%. There's no way for me to take a regular die that's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and roll a 7. So probability in general can range from 0 to 1 or 100%. So the lowest possible probability, for example, rolling a 7 on a 6-sided dice, is a probability of 0. You can't roll a 7 on a 6-sided dice. So it's a probability of 0. However, probability of 1, which is the same as 100%, 100% chance is something that is certain to happen. It is for sure. You are doing school today. You're already doing it because you're watching this video. So the odds of you doing school today are 100%. You're doing it. The odds that I make another video for you to watch this year are 100%. Is odds of 1. It's going to happen. The odds of if you have a bag of baseballs and you grab one out, that it will be a baseball is 100%. It is certain. It is going to happen. Anything in between that can be different. So an odds of, for example, 0.5 or 50%, that's a 50-50 chance. It could happen, it could not. It's even either way. So we're going to do a few more probabilities and just get used to sort of thinking of. So here's a spinner, and spinners are a thing that we use a lot for probabilities. What is the probability of landing on the number 3 on your first spin? Written as a fraction, decimal, and percent. So in this case, we would count how many, we want the probability of a 3. So see if you can answer this problem. Restart the video when you're ready to go. So looking at this, I see that there are 8 total sides. One of them has a 3 on it, so my probability is 1 out of 8. That is my fraction. For my decimal, I just do 1 divided by 8, and I get 0.125. And then my percent is 12.5%. For this next one, I want you to do this one on your own. So this one here, this is the first problem for your check. What is the probability the pointer will land on the letter G? So this is your first problem for your check for probability. So what is the probability the pointer will land on the letter G is for your first check here. Okay? And you are going to enter that as a simplified fraction. All right. Looking at the next one, what is the probability of not landing on a 2 or 3? So this is an interesting one. We want the probability of not 2 or 3. This is also written as probability with that line. That little line means not. Well, in this case, we have 8 total sections, and 6 of them are not a 2 or a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the probability that we don't get a 2 or a 3 is 6/8, which simplifies to 3/4, 0.75, and 75%. This last one is interesting. If we look at this square here, we want the probability of getting a 3. And here's what some people would do. They would say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sections. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them have a 3. So clearly the answer is 1/2. But that's not quite all we need to do. When we look at this, I see that some of the sections are bigger than others. And before I can think about what the probability is, I need them all to be the same. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to split these so that all the sections are the same size. Now those are threes and these are twos. Now that I have everything all together, I can count how many sections have twos and how many sections have threes. And my probability of getting a three, well, I now have a total of 16 sections, and I can count how many of them have threes. So this is the answer for your second problem of your check. I would like you to put this one in as a decimal. So I want you to finish finding the probability of getting a 3 and put it in as a decimal. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.